This is a lesson on the major pentatonic scale. This is our first lesson on this scale, and we're going to do a little bit of theory before we actually start playing the scale pattern. The first thing is that our major pentatonic scale is actually derived from a major scale. Major scale is a scale that you've heard a million times your entire life. Probably sounds pretty familiar here. A major scale is a diatonic scale. It has 7 notes in it. A pentatonic scale has 5 notes in it. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of 2 of the notes in order to make this a pentatonic scale. The first note we're getting rid of is the 4th note. So if we go up the major scale, we're going to get rid of this note here with the pinky. And then we're also going to get rid of this note right here, which is the 7th note of the scale. So instead of going, we're actually going to be playing. Now, if this looks familiar, it probably should if you've done the minor pentatonic scale lessons that I've gotten earlier on. This is basically just our A minor pentatonic scale move down 3 frets, and you're starting on your pinky. The important thing is where you start the scale. If I was to start the scale here, suddenly it sounds pretty minor. Alright, I'm playing the same notes, but this note makes it sound minor, this note makes it sound major. Without getting into the concept of modes, a scale is basically a set of notes that have specific distances between them. And those distances are what give us a sound, major, minor, dominant, whatever we're looking for. In this case, and without getting into all of that stuff, all we really want to remember is that with this scale pattern, what I've called the home position minor pattern, if you start on your 4th finger with that shape and use that as the root, you're actually going to be playing a major sounding scale. And remember, it's a major pentatonic, a 5-note scale, not a diatonic major scale which has 7 notes, which is the major scale that everybody's real familiar with. The second page of this, we have some scale drills, and basically all we're doing is we're running up and down the scale quarter notes, which a quarter note is 1 note per click, metronome click. 1/8 notes, which are 2 notes per click, are half a beat apiece. Triplets, which are 3 notes per click, and then 16th notes. So I'm just going to run through each of these real quick for you, just so you get a chance to hear it. When you practice any scale, you really want to make sure that you're using your metronome. I'm using kind of a cheapy one right here, but all it's got to do is play time. I've got it set to 60 beats a minute. Hopefully that will allow us to play the smaller subdivisions, the 16th notes and the triplets, evenly without having to rush to them. It's slow enough where we should be able to execute. Okay, so here are the quarter notes. Now if you notice, I started on the root, played up all throughout the scale pattern. When I came back, I also caught the note that was below the root and then returned to it. You know, that helps us get the sound of the scale fixed in our head, but it also allows us to play every note in that position. We'll talk more about that as we do some of these other scale patterns. Let's try with 1/8 notes. So there's going to be 2 of these notes per metronome click. And we'll count them 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and probably best to alternate pick this, or to pick down on the click and then up on the and, or the part in between the clicks. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright, and for the picking, just think down, up, down, up, down, up. You can take a look at fretting hand here. Down, up, down, up. there's a lot of ways of picking these scales. You know, people have economy picking and all down picking, all up picking. If you can alternate pick consistently, it's going to make a lot of the stuff that you play in the future a lot easier, and it's going to feel better rhythmically, I think. The next division of time is the triplet, and there's going to be 3 beats per click. One way to count this is if we count 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4, and we play 1 triplet, 2 triplet, triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. I play the root twice on the end just to keep the triplet figure happening. That's the only reason why it occurs twice in the notation. I'll do it one more time for you. Now, one thing is I'm still alternate picking this. Picking triplets, and let's go back to the picking hand here. If we think about this, you have 2 different pick directions and 3 possible notes. So the first beat is going to be 1 triplet, which is going to be a down pick, up pick, down pick. All right, and then the second beat is going to actually start in an up pick. Up, down, up. So you got down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and so on. If you don't keep that going, it's going to sound kind of funky, I think. 16th notes are 4 notes per metronome click, or a quarter of a beat. We're going to count these 1, E, and are going to be each of the subdivisions. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and E and 2 E and. Okay, one more time. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So that's the 16th notes. Once again, try and make sure that you are alternate picking all the way through. On the 3rd page, we have some sample lick ideas. These aren't the most exciting things in the world. One thing I found is that if I don't give some playing examples, most people's solos end up sounding like just running up and down the scale. So I'm just going to give you a couple common ideas here. Number 1, I'll do it one more time. Okay, number 2 has some more bends. It's a little bit more all over the place. And these can be, you know, each one of these measures can be an independent idea. On number 2, you have, that's one, like, it can be independent of the next one, which is a sequence. There's nothing saying that these have to be one complete idea. It's basically just a chance for you to get your feet wet playing some of these ideas without just going up and down the scale. The next one, number 3, one more time. Okay, and then number 4. Now, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with this major pentatonic scale. Later on, we're going to talk about playing some blues where over the first chord you can play a major idea, and then when it goes to the 4 chord you can play the minor. So you can actually get a little bit of phrasing derived from using different scales over the chord progression. That's one thing. The other, I mean, obviously, you can get kind of a country rock sound out of this stuff. Playing over pop songs, it's nice to have this. I'll actually use a combination of this major pentatonic scale along with the notes from the major scale. All kinds of stuff like that we're going to get into a little bit later. Today we're just getting your feet wet with the sound of the scale, Next week we're actually going to learn the rest of the 5 positions and then actually start doing some applications.